Hey everybody, it's Bam Bam here with lesson number 1 of Guitar Lessons for the Beginners. Just a little bit about me so you can get an idea of where I'm coming from. I did start playing guitar when I was 15, so that was 30 some years ago, a little bit over 35 years, actually a lot over 35 years. Excuse me. I learned on the electric guitar, and most of the guitar that I learned was on my own. I did take lessons for a while back when I was a teenager, and that got me the basics. What I'm going to teach you is kind of maybe backwards. A lot of people might think I shouldn't touch this just yet, but this is what I wish I learned first, and that is the fretboard, mastering the fretboard. Once you get that down, it should be easy to do other things in the future. So lesson number 1 is we're going to learn the fretboard. But before we do that, we have to learn a little bit about the guitar. Okay, this is a 6-string guitar. It is tuned in E standard. So what that means is that your strings from top to bottom, or biggest to smallest, will be starting with an E. Next one is going to be an A. Next one's going to be a D. Next one's going to be a G. Next one's going to be a B. And then your last one is going to be an E. And that's up from, they also call this the high E, as opposed to this, which is the low E. All right, just a little background on the musical alphabet. They go through A through G, and there are sharps and flats in the middle of them. So let me run by those real quick. We're going to start with A sharp, B, there's no B sharp, C sharp, D sharp, E, there's no E sharp, so we go to F sharp, G, and G sharp. And this never changes. That's going to be your progression all throughout the fretboard and all throughout music also. You can learn that on the piano, and it's going to be the same notes. So what does that mean to you? That means we only have to deal with a certain number of notes. I know it might seem overwhelming right now, but once you get it down, it's going to be so much better in the future. Okay, let's get back to the strings, and I'll show you how that works out here on the strings. So let's start with the A string, since we went with the A. So your 5th string, or the 2nd fattest string, is your A. So there's your A note, and then let me back up. I didn't explain the fretboard. This is the neck of the guitar, and the neck is dissected into frets, 1 through 12. As you see, 12 is always distinct, and if you're playing an acoustic guitar, you see that after 12 it gets a lot harder to play. So you really don't have to worry about that if you're going to be playing country music and, you know, rhythm guitar. But if you like to play lead, I would suggest getting an electric guitar in the future. You have that cut out so you can get down to the higher notes like that. Okay, so now we know that it's divided into frets. That will determine what note we're playing. So, and every string has a name too when it's an open string. So like that's the open A, but it's still an A. And then if I put my finger, my first finger, my pointy finger, on the 1st fret on the 5th string, I've got an A sharp. B, remember there's no B sharp, so we go to C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, There's no E sharp, so we go to F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and back to A, which is now another, this is an octave higher than. So you can take that information we just learned and transpose that to any string. So if we go up to the 6th string, the low E, we know that's an E. We know that there's not an E flat, so the first fret on the 6th string is going to be an F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and then you know the rest. A sharp, B, no flat or no sharp, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. So that's going to be all over the fretboard. So once you learn that, you'll get a good idea of where everything is on the fretboard. And that'll help you in reading music, playing music, and making your own music. So here's another thing we can do, show you that it all stays the same. We're just going to use the first 5 or 6 frets on the strings and show you how that is. Again, we went over the E, but let's do it again. E, no flats, no sharps, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. And then what we got here on the 2nd string is A again. A sharp, B, no B sharp, C, C sharp, D. Then we go down to the 3rd string, and guess what? That's a D also. So we can continue on. D, D sharp, E. Remember, E doesn't have a sharp. F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. But remember, there's no B sharp. So we jump to the 5th string, and guess what? That's a B also. So the B, no sharps, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and guess what? That takes us to our 6th string, or the high E. And then we go all again. No sharp, no E sharp, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So you can see it's all over the fretboard. All these notes are all over the fretboard, but they stay in order. So once you learn that, you're going to be ahead of the game, guys. I really believe that. So this week, for the next week, I want you to practice that. Going up and down the fretboard, naming them. Naming each note there on the fretboard. And remember, it never changes. It's A through G with the sharps in it. Oh, so you want to know why they call them sharps or flats? Well, this is kind of interesting because the sharps are when you go up in the music, but it's actually going down on the fretboard. And it's usually for brighter music, happier music. And then for flats, flats are written for more somber, gloomy music. So that's just some little taste of music theory, but hopefully enough to get you going and understanding it. So just take a look at the fretboard all this next week. Try to memorize as much as you can. If nothing else, memorize the top string, your E string. Memorize that, because that'll be coming in play here in the near future. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this first lesson. If you have any questions or comments, just put them down there in the section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And look forward to seeing you next week for lesson number 2. Thanks, guys.